My last several videos have been TBRs, and I've only followed through on one of those, so hopefully today makes two. Today I'm going to be doing the stay-at-home reading rush tag, as well as sharing my TBR for the stay-at-home reading rush, since it's one of the questions on the tag. If you somehow haven't heard of the reading rush, it's a week-long readathon that happens every single summer here on BookTube, and it's hosted by Ariel Bissett, and she is hosting an abbreviated one from the 16th of April through the 19th of April, just to encourage everyone to stay at home and read. And she posted a tag video so we can share what we've been reading while we've been at home, and also to share our TBR for the readathon. So without further ado, let's jump into the questions. Question number one, how is your reading going while staying at home? Honestly, it's been a little bit up and down. My day-to-day hasn't been super different because I already work from home, so I haven't had some huge lifestyle change. But as much as I've wanted to be creative and productive over the past month or so, I've been really creatively drained lately, and that just always puts me in an overall not so great mood because that is my least favorite thing. So I've just been super unproductive lately, and that carries over into my reading. That said though, I did finally start my 30-day manga challenge about a week ago, a little bit over a week ago, and so I'm kind of in the middle of that, and it's going very well. I'm vlogging it, so eventually there will be a vlog for it, but I did have to tweak the rules a little bit. Originally the rule was I was gonna read a manga volume each day, and now the rule is I have to read at least one manga volume each day because I couldn't control myself, and one day I wanted to read several, so you'll see in that vlog. Next question, where have you been reading at home? Literally right behind this camera, in bed. I always read in bed. Nothing special here, it's just the same as always. Question number 3, best book you've read during isolation. Since I hadn't really been doing much reading before my 30-day manga challenge, I only really have those to choose from, and it's not a huge variety here, but I do have to shout out to the manga that I'm currently reading, and that is the Liar Game manga series. It's amazing. Liar Game follows this girl named Nao who's really naive and really trusting, and because she is so naive and trusting, she gets tricked into playing this game called the Liar Game, where huge sums of money and possibly even your life are on the line. Through a series of kind of silly and weird events, she ends up enlisting the help of this ex-con man named Akiyama to help her get out of this game, and they compete together through this series of really strategic and manipulative games, and it's so much fun. It's been said that my favorite reality competition called The Genius took inspiration from Liar Game, the manga, and its subsequent drama adaptations. And so that's how I discovered it, and that's why I love it so much, because it is so similar to that show that I've fallen in love with. It's just fantastic. I'm only 6 volumes in right now, and it's so good. There are 19 overall, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Question number 4, what is your favorite feel-good book? So here's the thing, I don't read a ton of books that would be described in general as feel-good books. I tend to read a lot of dark stuff. So for me, even the books that I would describe as feel-good books are still kind of dark in general. But some books to me that are feel-good books are And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie and Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Those are 2 of my favorite books of all time, and they always feel very comforting and very nostalgic. And I think that's kind of why I define them as feel-good books. They just make me feel so homey and comfortable, I guess. But another book that I absolutely love that would be more widely described as a feel-good series, I think, is the Orange manga series. I mean, all books and series are gonna have ups and downs, but the Orange manga series always just really warms my heart, even in the darker moments of it. It's one that always makes me really happy. Next question, a book you wish you could borrow from the library. For this one, I'm gonna have to go with the Erased manga series. I don't even know if my library has it, but I've been wanting to read it for a while, and I still haven't bought them because they're in hardcover and expensive, and I want to read them very badly, and I wish that I could get them from the library. Last question before jumping into the TBR, and that is, what author do you want to shout out at this time? I don't follow a ton of authors, so I wasn't really sure how to answer this question, but I am going to shout out 2 authors that released books either during or right before this whole thing happened, so check out their books. I haven't read them yet, but just, you know, as a, hey, read their books. First up is Phil Stamper. I follow him on Twitter. He's the one who started the whole like handbook for mortals thing, and that's how I discovered him. And he published his debut novel in February, so go check him out because he published literally right before all this craziness started going down. And then secondly, I'm gonna shout out Diana Urban. Her debut novel, All Your Twisted Secrets, came out in March. It was my most anticipated release of the year, and I still haven't read it yet because I'm a disaster, but this one is super cool. It's very like Breakfast Club meets Agatha Christie's and Then There Were None, so obviously very intrigued by this. I've been meaning to film like as I read style video for this, but I still haven't. So check this out if you're interested. And the final question is to share your Reading Rush TBR, which I'm gonna do now. So there are 4 challenges for the Reading Rush, and I don't think I'm gonna be following them like super closely. I'm not gonna be trying too hard to meet them, but I think that just by proxy of the books that I'm going to be reading over those few days, I am gonna complete 3 out of 4. The one challenge that I will like 99% not be completing is the read a book with a house on the cover challenge, because I don't have any books with houses on the cover. I checked my shelves. I checked my manga TBR. I checked my Goodreads TBR. I don't have any books on my TBR with a house on the cover. Literally the only book that I know of that I have that has a house on the cover is And Then There Were None, which that's the 3rd time I've mentioned that book in this video, and I've read it like 20 times, and I really don't want to reread it this weekend, so we're not doing that one. So moving on to what I will actually be reading over the weekend, I'm definitely going to be continuing the Liar Game manga series. Because it's a readathon, I am probably going to try to read more than 1 manga volume per day. I don't know how many I plan on reading, but I think that I'm gonna try to get a good chunk of the way through the series, but probably not all the way through it. And that's solely because I don't really want to rush it. This is a series that I'm really enjoying, and I don't want to read them so quickly back to back that it all just mushes together in my brain. I want to enjoy it. So because of that, I have some other manga volumes that I'm going to be reading in the middle of that, and I'm going to share those now. And the first of those is Death Note. I'm going to be rereading Death Note, and I'm very excited about it. If you don't know what Death Note is about, basically our main character, Light, discovers this notebook, and when you write someone's name in the notebook, they die. And that is the Death Note. I haven't finished Liar Game, but I'm just gonna say this now. I think Liar Game is the closest correlation to Death Note that you're gonna find. I've seen people mention the Monster series as a series that's similar to Death Note, and I read the first few volumes of that, and I didn't really find that strong of a correlation, but Liar Game is very similar, and I think that if you enjoy Death Note, you should check out Liar Game because they have very similar like battle of wits going on, and that's what I love about each of them. I'm not sure how far I'm going to get in the series throughout the readathon, but I am going to be reading it as if it were the like original like 12 volume run rather than these black editions, just because I read them in these black editions originally and I didn't ever experience the story in like the original 12 volume run. So I'm gonna be breaking it up like that just so I can experience it in a different light, I guess. I really just said a different light, didn't I? Okay, I think those 2 are going to be my main focus throughout the readathon, but there's one more series that I do want to get through because it is only 2 volumes, at least in the English editions, and that is Doubt. Doubt is one that sounds like it's going to be similar to Liar Game and Death Note in the fact that it's kind of like a battle of wits. Basically, the premise is that there's this app where you play kind of like a werewolf or mafia style game, I think, and then some people meet up to play it in person in real life, and like someone possibly dies. I don't know. It sounds very similar to those kind of like werewolf mafia type games where like someone is secretly like betraying everyone or something like that. It sounds really cool. It sounds kind of similar to like And Then There Were None or Liar Game or Death Note, and that's what I really love. One more manga that I totally forgot about because it is not in my possession currently, it's on its way to me right now, is 7 Princes of the ThousandYear Labyrinth. I recently stumbled across a booktuber named Kate Fell, I assume is how her last name is pronounced. I will put her picture here and link her down in the description. And I was watching a video where she talked about a lot of manga she'd recently gotten, and this was one of the manga volumes that she got. And although she didn't have a super stellar review of the first volume, the concept of it intrigued me so much that I could not help but pick it up, so that's what I did. Essentially, it's a pretty short manga. I think it's like 4 volumes, and there are 7 or 8 people put into a labyrinth and forced to battle to the death to become the king. sounds kind of cool. I really love competitions, so it was something that immediately piqued my interest, and I've been reading a lot of manga lately, so I decided to get it. It's on its way to me. I'm probably going to read it this weekend as long as it gets here in time. That's pretty much the extent of what I'm going to be reading. If I read anything else, it might be a volume of Battle Royale, or maybe even like a volume of Monster. I don't know. That's what I talked about already is probably what I'm going to be reading. I do plan on vlogging it, so you'll probably see that Monday, Tuesday, sometime around then. I don't know what the other challenges for the readathon are. I know there's an Instagram one. I don't know if there's anything else. I don't think I will be participating in those, but you never know, we'll see. That is it for this video. Let me know down in the comments if you are also participating in the readathon, what you're reading. Let me know, we can talk about it in the comments. Links to all my social media stuff will be down in the description. Add me as a friend on Goodreads. I'd love to be friends on Goodreads. That's where I post most of my book stuff. I sometimes tweet about it as well. Just those two are probably the best ones to follow me on. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.